Yo, got a little quick question for you guys. Um, do you think Russell Westbrook is underrated or overrated? It's a good question to ask, right? Um, I get a lot of remarks about Westbrook. Some people say he's overrated. He's a stat patter. You know, he doesn't play winning basketball. Me, myself, I have been critical of Westbrook a couple of times. But at the same time, I do know his worth. Now, I did say several times I think he should be traded for the Rockets because I don't like that combo of two ball dominant guards on the same team. I just think it's a recipe for disaster, in my personal opinion. But a guy in Westbrook who's always averaged double-digit in points. He's averaged a triple-double for 3 seasons in a row. He's a good rebounder for a guard, one of the most athletic guards you could probably think of next to Derrick Rose, right? He led his team to the playoffs when he first averaged a triple-double, and that team was 6th to 7th seed back then. He managed to win an MVP off that. He was a second player in history, outside of Oscar Robertson, to do the triple-double thing. Now, I do think some of those triple-doubles were stat pad. That's just my personal opinion. There's several videos you can see him getting at his teammates or making faces at them for taking a last-minute rebound. And he also found a way to cheat the system or manipulate the stat system. This is why I keep telling people stats in basketball have to be taken with a grain of salt. You have to can't just look at the stat sheet. You have to break it down and put it in perspective. All right. At the same time, he let his as an individual player, the number one on his team, he led them to the playoffs. That's something under his belt you can't take away. And he won the MVP, right? So you can't knock that. Even in the finals in 2012, Kevin Durant, stat-wise, numbers were all there. But he was missing something. And the only guy that seemed on the outside looking in with the eye test that seemed care about winning was Westbrook. You know, you can make a case Kevin Durant flamed out in some moments against the Miami Heat. Westbrook's possessions per game have went down since he's joined the Rockets, which is understandable because he plays with James Harden, right? So you can't knock him for being unselfish. And I give him credit for playing with Paul George and taking a backseat a little bit. He let Paul George have an MVP-like season because he took a backseat to all of that. He could have easily kept the ball in his hands, been extremely ball dominant, and let Paul George not have the best season. And he treated that guy like a king, man, just to get him to re-sign back with OKC. And then out of the blue, he just bounces and goes to the Clippers. That's kind of crazy, right? But those are the good benefits. Now, what else does Westbrook do that's good? He's very frantic, okay? Now, this is a good and a bad thing about him. Everything good about Westbrook is also bad about Westbrook, all right? So keep that in mind. He can't control the pace of a game. If anything, he makes a game go chaos. He likes a fast-paced game. He likes craziness going all around the place. And part of that craziness is you could take him out of his game. Once you trash talk Russell Westbrook, it takes him out of his game. He starts making boneheaded plays. He starts making boneheaded shots. you know, ill-advised shots, very low percentage shots. That's one of his flaws. All right. But on the flip side to that, it's a yin and yang with this guy. He does go at you full speed, and he doesn't stop. He's probably one of the most, he has the most best durability than a lot of superstars, because this guy doesn't seem like he gets tired. He's always in your face, you know, and he brings it to you, you know. Now, the negatives against the Jazz, when he let Ricky Rubio get to him, you know, he had no business to be getting outplayed by Ricky Rubio in some of them games, you know. And him and Paul George went home in the first round twice. So change was needed. This is why I keep telling you guys. So if the playoffs start and he gets knocked out again in the first round, that's 3 years in a row where you get knocked out in the first round, regardless of you changing the team. He will be trade bait, right? So, what do I think of Westbrook? I think Westbrook is perhaps top 15 to top 20 best player in the world. Now, we get a full season where everybody's healthy, he would go down a little more, all right? Because, I mean, you're talking about a season with a lot of guys that are better than him. You know, make no question about it. Westbrook plays like every game is his last, but he's not the most talented player in the world. Kevin Durant is still a better basketball player, per se, than Russell Westbrook. But, you know, Westbrook brings it. You know, he wears his heart, so to speak, that whatever term that is. He brings it, man. He brings that 9 to 5, I'm gonna be in your face attitude all day, every day. You know, basketball is mental and physical at the same time. Westbrook is mentally strong and he's physically strong. Okay, there's nothing mentally weak about him. But the thing about it is his own ego and his own desire to win actually causes him to win. This is why I keep telling you, the good is also the bad with this guy. Now, the big question comes, do I think Westbrook is overrated or underrated? It's a shocker. I think he's both. 50% for each. All right, this is my personal opinion. I think he gets underlooked for the effort he puts towards winning. All right, but at the same time, he can cost his team games. Put them in situations where they, actually losing situations sometimes. It's not systematic basketball. I mean, him and Carmelo Anthony have the same tendency to play playground basketball. I mean, if these guys was playing on the playground, they'd be the best players of all time if they played on the court outside. But hate to make it seem like a cheesy answer. You know, I picked both. You probably was hoping me to pick one, but I truly believe that he's both underrated and overrated. What you think? Peace.